And once again, we are back in the courthouse. Okay, let's see if theories hold water. There's really only one person that could be guilty for all of this, so here's hoping we can prove it. But then again, it all seems so simple. I don't know, it's so strange. Hey, Nick! Well, what is it? Something wrong? Nah, but did you see all the people here? It's crazy. Oh, so check out the Mask Glossy I bought. If and I must. You bought this? Where? Why is there officially licensed merchandise of a world-renowned thief? That makes no sense to me. From the little tents in front of the courthouse, they have all sorts of things for sale. Ah, well, hawker's gonna hawk. You know, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm 100% aware of that. Come on, I'm guilty. Throw the book at me. Who's screaming like that? Oh, Mr. Wright, you made it. Yeah, I did, but it doesn't look like things are going to get any less ugly for you. Because I did it! I'm the criminal! Me! Ugh, he's at it again. I sent the calling card to Wait, Lordly? Lordly Taylor, I admit it! For a second I was wondering if I was saying that wrong, but you don't have the sacred urn, right? Well, that's true, but that doesn't mean that I didn't commit the crime. Normally, when I say, of course you didn't, I'm being sarcastic, but you? Yeah. Anyway, I admit that I'm guilty, so make sure they give me a guilty verdict, please. Oh, there you are, Ronnie. Bonjour, sweetie. Oh, Desi, honey. Bonjour. Well, actually, I don't really know why I should be speaking French to you at a time like this. Leave it all to me, Ronnie. I swear I'll protect you. Well, you see, the thief is me. Can I tell you something, Nicky boy? I can guarantee that my Ronnie is innocent. If he's declared guilty, I'll be ever so cross with you. So why are you smiling when you say it? That's more than a little concerning, if I'm being real. Well, if you'll excuse me, I've got some errands I need to take care of. That's right, not even gonna bother watching. I'm counting on you, Nicky boy. Good luck. I sure hope she's not evil. To be honest, I really don't know whether Ron is masked a mask or not. There's only one thing I am sure of. He doesn't have the sacred urn right now. Mr. Delight, it's time for you to enter the courtroom. For the time being, I guess I'll have to trust Desiree. I don't trust the client, but I trust somebody who apparently does trust the client. Or trust the client's money, I guess. Really, I kind of wish he never told me that. Also, hi there, hello. I saw that prosecutor, I've seen your pictures around, I finally get to know the guy. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight. The defense is ready, Your Honor. That is definitely a bold concept for a prosecutor. What about the prosecution? Are you prepared to... What a stupid question. What did you say? Fine. Let me ask you then, Your Honor. Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to pass judgment? No, I'm not. I'll pass judgment after I hear arguments from both sides. Well, if you're not ready yourself, you shouldn't expect others to be. That's a rule to live by. Who are you? I'm Godot. Legendary prosecutor. I've never lost a case. Also, I come with my own saxophone-based theme music, apparently. Ah, he's the one that Detective Atme was talking about. Yes, your reputation precedes you. What kind of cases have you dealt with so far? Ha, none. Excuse me? What did you say? I've never prosecuted a case before. Never? You said you've never lost before. Exactly. I've never lost. I've never won before either. Well, I mean, that's kind of dumb, but at the same time, I can't argue against that. That is factual. Fair enough. Quite arrogant for a beginner, aren't you? Even the mightiest of redwoods begin their lives as mere saplings. Yes, but a mask? In a court of law? That shoots lasers, probably? Don't you know anything? No matter the man, we all wear masks. Either on our faces or over our hearts. So that's the kind of guy I'm dealing with this time, huh? What? This guy's the real deal, all right, Nick. Why does it seem like all prosecutors are the real deal? They always have their own super duper unique quirk. So we finally meet Mr. Phoenix Trite. Oh, is that your common everyday average mispronunciations of names, or are you actually being spiteful? Nick, is he a friend of yours? No, I don't have any friends that call me Trite. Just who is this masked man? I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. Interesting. Okay, let's file that one into the little memory banks. Well then, Prosecutor Gobo, it's not Gobo, it's Godot, Your Honor. In any case, please give your opening statement. Opening statement? Those things are not fit for even dogs to consume. Man's got high standards when it comes to dog food. I have only one thing to say before we start. To you, Mr. Trite. What is it? Are you familiar with the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link? As a matter of fact, I am. They based a whole game show off of that concept. I wonder how much you can withstand before you and your case break in two. Okay. Some mysteries and intrigues going on over there. Well then, let's hear from the first witness. It's Gumshoe! Hell yeah! My name is... No one has asked for your name, witness. Different game, same results. Nobody is ever nice to Gumshoe. The important thing is what you know, that's all. Start talking, we're listening. Yes, sir. All right, witness, first, let's hear about what you know about the thief that stole the urn. Yes, sir. Just jumping straight into this thing, bzam! Bzow! That's what we're doing. Master Mask is a master thief that first started his crime spree 6 months ago. He's so confident that he sends his calling cards before he even commits the crime. As is the style at the time. This was his 5th heist, and as usual, he sent a card on the lordly tailor. His pattern is to always go after the most precious art pieces. And that's why we're sure it was Master Mask, sir. It fits his MO to a T. Yeah, okay, but again, we know for a fact that the thing he stole was not valuable. So then the actual identity of this Master Mask is... Mr. Godot! Plot twist! What are you? Oh, hello, what? We're in the middle of a trial here, Mr. Godot. Blacker than a moonless night. Hotter and more bitter than hell itself. That is coffee. Okay. I'm sure you can grant me at least this much, Your Honor. Oh, please, proceed. Very well. It's only coffee, after all. What? You can't be letting him slide this early in the trial. And yet, here we are. This is the world we're living in. Of course. Of course. Proceed with your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Well, Nick, what are you gonna do? As long as they haven't brought up Mr. Delight's identity, all we can do is show that it wasn't Master Mask who stole the urn. I feel like I don't even really need to press anything on this stuff, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to miss any fun dialogue. So let's hold it. Let's dance around it. Have you been involved in the investigation from the beginning? Yep. Nobody knows more about the thief than me, pal. It's true. I'm a Zvari, author on thieves. An author? He's written books about thieves? I think he probably meant to say authority. The fact that this guy can slip through even my fingers shows how good he is, pal. It's easier when those fingers happen to be butterfingers, or sausagey. There's really no need to press harder on that, I don't think. The real authority on the thief is the other detective. I don't even need to ask any more questions. Yeah, no, I wanted to press it for the sake of pressing it. What's with this overconfidence? Have you seen all of these so-called calling cards? Of course I have. Except, well, the person in charge of the treasure exhibit never brought their card to the police. So I didn't see this one until after the crime occurred. And that's because Detective Atney stopped Miss Andrews from taking it to the police. Was the calling card that Lordy Taylor received authentic? Well, all the cards have one common identifying feature, but we're not releasing that information to the general public. But you're absolutely certain that this card is real? Gumshoe can't say it out loud, but I bet he's talking about the emblem. More than most likely. It says 5th heist, huh? And that's all it takes to get famous around these parts. That's pretty crazy. And it's 5th case, and your 5th screw up, huh? Objection, pal! That ain't fair. Maybe you could say I screwed up 4 times, but this last time wasn't my fault. I didn't know about the calling card this time. You of all people shouldn't be chuckling about this, Detective Gumshoe. Oh, Pally. I just want everyone to know in the car. Yeah, I want everyone here in the courtroom to know something. If you ever get a calling card from this guy, don't call some stupid private eye. Call your local police right away. Got me? Wow, looks like he's really got it in for Detective Atme. Well, considering he's the most likely suspect to everything, that's fine. He only goes after the most precious of art pieces. Art pieces? Like what, for example? Well, his first target was the famous Tear of Anamon. What was that? Some kind of especially salty teardrop? No, sir, it's a blue diamond. A single rare diamond. Next was the Crown of Bongora. You know, the thing you put on your head. After that was the Left Hand of Hades and the Portrait of Magina, sir. Detective Atme received the Portrait of Magina and returned it to the museum. And the target of his 5th and last robbery was the Sacred Urn, right? But isn't it difficult for him to dispose of such famous art pieces? That's kind of what the black market is for. Well, we assume he must have some underworld connections. See, there you go. Somehow, Mr. Delight doesn't look the type. More than a little. Yeah, he's a little too sunny to be hanging out in the underworld. Granted, we have seen two-faced people in the past, but still. Any ding-dong way, I don't think this, this run-of-the-mill urn is really worth much. So, let me just throw this out here, right now for you. Can I ask you a little something, Detective Gumshoe? Just hearing the little in that question is making me nervous. You said that he always goes after the most precious art pieces, right? That's right, pal. But there's one problem. That's not what he did in this case. My authoritative music is letting you know this. This supposedly priceless urn doesn't exactly rise to the level of precious art. But what do you mean? Nick, how could you say such a terrible thing? Look, it's got sentimental value, but doesn't have monetary value. Come on, there's a difference, lady. No, I meant from a financial point of view. I mean, it wouldn't fetch a good price. It wouldn't be worth stealing. Well, Prosecutor Godot, what is the value of that urn? The appraisers I spoke to said they couldn't attach a price to it. And I mean that in the worst sense. So, in other words, it was not the kind of item that Master Mask would normally go after. Bracken. If I understand you correctly, Mr. Wright, you're saying that the theft of the Sacred Urn was not the work of Master Mask. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Actually, all I did was point out the contradiction. The argument made itself, but, you know. Whatever. You do what you want to do, Judge. Well, first of all, we need to get that issue cleared up. Was this last robbery the work of Master Mask or not? What do you have to say about this, Mr. Godot? Ugh. If he's going to be doing that for as long as I'm dealing with him, I'm probably going to get a very unfairly biased hatred towards him. The sound of the throat makes when it gulps something is ridiculously obnoxious and grating to me. Ugh. Do not like it. This coffee here, it's my own special blend. I call it Godot 107. I'm trying to decide whether to cut down on the acidity or the bitterness. Well, it doesn't really matter what you do, it's still freaking coffee, dude. Wait a second. Huh. I might be grasping at straws, but I think my brain just made a connection to something. I'll keep it to myself, though. That's the only thing I've got on my mind right now, Mr. Trite. What? If you're really a man, you should clean up your own mess. Sorry, but I don't get what you mean. If you're saying it wasn't Master Mask that stole the urn, then it must be someone imitating Master Mask's methods. A fake. A fake Damask? Fake Damask? That sounds so ridiculous, but I kinda like it. Who's tossing those? Now, before I decide on my coffee, I believe some proof is in order, Mr. Trite. proof that the person who appeared at Lordly Taylor that night was actually a fake. Please never do that. Though I don't approve of Mr. Godot's behavior, his point is valid. Mr. Wright, we're waiting. Looks like I'm gonna have to prove it. Okay, I need proof that the person at Lordly Taylor that night was in fact fake Damask. All right, well, let's see here. I did recently get this. Okay. And security? Ah! Okay, but the question is, which one do I present? I mean, he has a giant honkin' like brooch thingy on his chest in one, and he doesn't in the other. So, stands to pretty good reason. That's my best guess. Let's see, do I present this one? I'm not sure. Do I present this one and point out the brooch on that, or do I present this one and get rid and point out the lack of a brooch? Well, the music didn't stop, but a thing popped up. The proof is right here. Okay, I think I got the right one. All right. Well, woo, we're taking it. This looks like a photo taken by a security camera. But if you look closely, you'll notice something peculiar about it. Don't drink. Well then, why don't you go ahead and show us what it is? Go on, use this pointer and show us. Whoa, okay. Just throwing a pointer at me, why don't you? But I'm gonna tell you it's right here, right here. It's right here, of course. You mean Damask? I have here a piece of reference I'd like the court to take a look at. Isn't that the publicity photo I bought this morning? Yes, it is. Thank goodness that you did. The problem I have with the security camera photo is the brooch on Damask's chest. A breach? Here, bailiff, get my steed. We need to retreat at once. You have a steed? A brooch, Your Honor. It's sort of a clasp for holding one's cape on. A clasp, eh? Ah, I see now. But the Master Mask in the security camera photo, he has no brooch. That brooch is the same as the emblem on Damask's calling card and serves as his symbol. But the thief that broke into Lordly Taylor wasn't wearing a brooch. What up with that, yo? In other words, this Master Mask is a fake. Murderer! I've been fooled again! Poor Gumshoe. Order! It's true. Undeniably true. Detective Gumshoe, how could you have overlooked this? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know how That is his third cup. Good Lord, this man must go to the bathroom 50 times a day. Hey now, you're a rock star. If you're gonna have a pity party, invite me too. I hate myself. What kind of statement is that? Mr. Godot, you deserve some blame in this too. How could you have overlooked such a large brooch? The brooch you're talking about. Ew. Do you mean this? That's Master Mask's brooch. Where did you find it? Well, I've always had a good nose for evidence, as opposed to my other senses that don't seem to work. I wonder if he's meant to be blind. I'm not entirely sure. I got it at the crime scene. I stole it, you know. Yeah, as lawyers do. It was hidden in the shadow of a big female Buddha statue. Buddha statue? He must mean the Ami Faye statue. All right, well then he ain't blind. That much is true. Why didn't you tell me about that, sir? I always put evidence away in my pocket. After all, it's the safest place for crucial evidence. This guy's one cool customer, and I can't even argue with him because we do the exact same thing, so. That is cup 4. It's a little early to be shaken up, isn't it, little lady? That friend of yours left pretty little hickeys on there too? What? Hickeys? Figuratively speaking, of course. I'm referring to Ron Delight's fingerprints. That's an incredibly weird and creepy way of referring to fingerprints. What? What? The defendant's fingerprints are on the brooch? Order! Order in the court! Mr. Godot, let's see that brooch. I've grown attached to my metallic girlfriend here. Okay, is Godot supposed to make me feel creeped out? because he does a really good job of making me feel creeped out. It appears to have been torn off some clothing. There's a little bit of cloth left on the back. Obviously, there must have been a big struggle that night at the crime scene. Phoenix, we have a problem. Yeah, that is mildly problematic. You mess with Godot, you're forced to endure my disgusting gulping noises, and you get burned. Yeah. He's been playing me like a violin, like a damn fiddle. Well, Judge, I'm about ready to call my next witness. Huh? You're done with me? But I haven't proved anything yet. You've proven your own incompetence. That's good enough. Cool, great. Be mean to Gumshoe. Doesn't sound good at all. Bailiff, bring the next witness into the courtroom. Finally time for the ace detective to make his appearance, huh? Time to rip holes into this argument. Ugh. Sorry, I'm gonna try to... If there's anything I've known after years of watching people play games and react to things, the only thing more annoying than something a character won't stop doing is the reactor themselves never getting over it. So I'll do my best. Just know that I will never not dislike that. 1 second is one drip in the coffee pot. Let's hurry it up. Shush! Silence! Now I see. It's all become clear. What's clear? Zari! The truth has once again been elegantly revealed to me. What we have here is a judge and a prosecutor, a coffee maniac at that. Should I throw out a theory? I want to throw out a theory about this. I can't. I don't want to look like an idiot. Okay, fine, but yes. Am I correct? Well, yes, that's right. You're in a freaking courthouse. Not bad. Not bad at all. You're the first person that's ever been able to penetrate my secret veil. What? Well, sir prosecutor, let me introduce myself. My name is Luke Atme. So you ever feel like a massive idiot? I just realized his name is Look at Me. Ace Detective and Rising Star illuminating the heavens. I'm just going to pretend that that's not a thing that I only just got. Boy, these two make a perfect pair. They'd either be best friends or they'd tear each other's heads off. I've heard that on the night of the crime, you were all alone on security detail, like a chump. You heard correctly. I failed catastrophically. Unless I am the criminal, in which case it all makes sense. Ooh. My specifically made monocle is worth more than 100 Detective Gumshoes. Well, that's just... I mean, probably not wrong, but still incredibly rude. If Detective Gumshoe was worth anything, that is. Oof. He went for the double stab. Why was this guy all by himself anyway? There must be some reason. I'm sure of it. Time to crack that case. Well then, tell us what this special monocle of yours witnessed. Well, generally anything I look at, but like, way closer. It's actually rather impractical. I bump into a lot of things. It was approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, just after the date changed. By an hour. That's when my nemesis, the infamous Mask to Masks, dancingly descended upon me. Just as I began to turn, the coward struck a fierce blow upon my noble head. Darkness swallowed me before I could land a single strike. When I awoke, he was gone. Okay, well, we know right out the gate that that's a load of baloney. We already know for a fact that that there had to have been some kind of struggle. 30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone to notify the police. Once I nursed my massive head wound. Talking like that hurts. I need to not do that. So you didn't get a clear look at the criminal? My specially made monocle never misses a thing. Unless I'm unconscious, in which case it misses everything. However, that is limited to things that fall within my own visual range. But of course, that's only natural. I fail to see why the witness seems so proud of his performance that evening. Well, Sir Old-Timer, let me explain. We are not speaking of any ordinary thief, but of the king of thieves, the great Master Mask, my arch enemy. You sure got a high opinion of someone you're trying to catch and put in jail, huh? I'm just saying, the only person you seem to value as much as yourself is him. And if you were both the same dude, that'd make a lot of sense. That is why that is what my instincts and my years of experience tell me. Very well. Proceed with the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. I will do that. Let us do that. All right. 1 o'clock in the morning, just as the date changed. So that'd be 1 o'clock on the morning of the 12th, correct? That's an impressive deduction, Sir Lawyer. You were on security duty that night. Where exactly were you headed at, were you at the time? A penetrating question. I was in the basement warehouse near the computer, as you do. Near the computer, huh? So then you weren't trying to remain hidden, I take it. Up to this point. I just burped. I have tried to remain concealed while waiting for the thief. Yeah, I said the same thing yesterday, too. Gumshoe also said that they've never spotted the thief at the crime scenes before. Precisely! That is precisely why I chose not to hide last night. I knew that by not concealing myself, I would be putting pressure on the thief. Looks like the thief was the one applying pressure on your... oh, that made me hiccup. The pigeony head, that is. Oof. In any case, that's when the nemesis descended upon me. Dancingly descended? From where exactly? Well, from the entrance, I suppose. Where else? So in actuality, he neither danced nor descended. Someone please save me. So how is it that you didn't notice the thief? My eyes were looking for the thief's shadow while my ears listened for his footfalls. But even so, the dastardly criminal managed to sneak up on me. It can only be due to his subtly camouflaged cape and soft-soled shoes. I hereby W, Ace Dunce. Wah, 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 wah. Phoenix Wright, Ace Sassmaster. Elaborate. You didn't see the criminal's face when that happened? Well, even if he did, it has a mask on it, so... Well, that's the difficult part. How should I put it? I saw his mask. That's all that I can recall. That's not very solid as far as testimony goes. However, fortunately, I had my third monocle, the security camera, at the ready. Wait, third monocle? What's the second one? Just your normal eye? It captured his image perfectly. This should be sufficient, I believe. Well, as long as this photo is authentic, I don't see a problem here. Well, Mr. Godot, do you have a problem with the photo? Nah. Sorry. Good, then let's continue with the testimony. Dude didn't even talk. All right, well, that's a load of balonium. So, take that, or objection, whatever comes first. Mr. Atney, could you take a look at this with that special monocle of yours? Look with your special eyes. My brand. Ah, this belongs to the criminal mastermind, my arch nemesis, Mask the Mask. Aha! It is, in point of fact, Master Mask's brooch. It was found on the floor of the basement warehouse. Wonder how that happened. Yeah, elementary, my dear lawyer. Obviously, it wasn't glued on well enough. Brooches are not attached with glue. Not quite. It clearly shows signs of having been ripped off a piece of clothing. Ripped off? Ah! We can only deduce that the thief struggled with someone that night. And that's the only thing I can think of. Or got caught on something, but that would be really silly. And there's only one person that was in position to have a struggle with the thief. The only person that was on security duty that night, you, Detective Atney. There's also the fact that I know there was something resembling a struggle. Detective Atney, you must have fought with the thief that night. So why did you lie in your testimony to the court? Witness! Giving false testimony is a serious crime. No. Wait, just a moment, sir, old-timer. Don't talk to me like I'm living in a nursing home. I just remembered, Your Honor. I was just confused because I've been dealing with so many cases lately, and brain trauma. Maybe I should have gone with that. The true measure of a man is in the amount of work he does. That's what I always say. Nick, you can only handle one case at a time, isn't that right? You talk too much. Just throwing that out there, not even a denial. Witness, so you're saying that you and the thief fought? Hold on. That's quite enough, Your Honor. Excuse me? I've lost count of the cups. Save the big questions for the testimony. That's one of my rules. Indeed, I understand. I, look at me, agree completely. Man, it's painful how obvious of a pun that was that I missed. Indeed, it's true that I looked away from the door for a brief moment. However, Luke at me cannot be so easily discombobulated. Unfortunately, the thief grabbed a weapon from the side and rendered me senseless. A true gentleman fights only with his own fists, but they were not enough. His first blow struck true. Bam! And that's all she wrote. You don't say. So in the end, you did catch a glimpse of Master Mask. Correct. It was during his third crime that he struck me from behind. It seems that my memory has become a tad jumbled, so to speak. Well, that's certainly understandable. I myself always get confused about which testimony goes with which case. That can't be good. That is very bad. Why would you admit to that? Very well. Indeed, it's true. All right, I looked away from the door for a brief moment. But for what reason? Why'd you look away from the door anyway? In addition to the camera, I had prepared a variety of other sensors as well. The alarm on one of those had gone off, so I had to go check the data. That's why I went to the computer. Elegantly, of course. So you were momentarily vulnerable when you were working on the computer. What should I do? Should I ask some more questions? The fact that there's multiple options make me think that this is actually something I'm supposed to be, like, actually going into. But I don't really think it's necessary. Well, we know for sure that Atme looked away from the door. I think I should ask about something else now. All right, so you looked away from the door. And then? What makes you so sure you can't be discombobulated? What does that mean, discombobulated? Thrown off senses, basically. Young people these days, they really irritate me. They allow perfectly good old words to die until everyone forgets what they mean. Sorry, but what exactly does it mean? Now I've forgotten. What was I saying? Oh, jeez. It's better than old people who forget what they were saying 5 seconds ago. The eternal debate of old and young. Well, it looks like we've cleared that up. You can go on with your testimony. Wow, they don't even bother explaining it. Explain your senselessness. What do you mean by weapon from the side? Naturally, the thief had no idea that I, Luke Atme, was hiding in the area. He grabbed the sword from the statue that was standing by the door to the warehouse. Sword? You mean the sword that was all twisted like a tree branch? Correct! Fortunately for me, the blade was not sharp. Yeah, otherwise you probably would be dead. Okay, so he is talking about the... Shichishito? I know I'm saying it wrong and I apologize. So the thief armed himself with a sword. What about yourself, witness? A true gentleman fights only with his fists, but they were not enough. You had that much faith in your own fighting abilities? But of course, in college, I was the second in charge of the boxing club. That's not too bad. I'm sorry if I failed to find that appropriately impressive. However, my opponent in the ring this time was my arch nemesis, Masked Mask. This guy is a real piece of work. Sigh, oh sigh. The first blow struck true, kablambo! And that's all she wrote. Most interesting, that. All right, fine. Can you tell us a little more about what happened? My opponent was both powerful and vicious. You might say he was powericious. Powericious? That is not a word. I assumed the at-me fighting stance, but, I assumed the at-me fighting stance, sorry. But a sudden flash of light blinded me. That, of course, was checkmate. My opponent had bested me. What do I do now? Should I ask more about this? I have to admit, I am kind of curious. What is this at-me fighting style? I'm sorry, but that's a trade secret. I really can't say anymore. But I suppose I can tell you if I absolutely must. Gave that up first. The main thing is to put your back to the wall. That way no one can get behind you. Then how did you get hit in the back of your head? That's it? That's the at-me fighting style? Well, Mr. Wright, what about that testimony? No, that's actually surprisingly impressive. I just wanted to know what it was. But I think that's actually the right course of action. Of course it's important. We learned a detective's secret technique after all. Yes, indeed. I'll remember to use it if I ever take a walk alone late at night. Why the heck is he eyeballing me like that? It's creeping me out. Now then, witness. We'll go ahead and add that secret information to your official testimony. Not so secret now, is it? Put my back to the wall to fight, but the thief's blow landed upon my third eye. That would imply your forehead. That is, in fact, not the case. Let's see. Yeah, below the, okay. I was kind of hoping that was the case. Objection! Detective Atme, your testimony is crumbling like a house of cards. What fun this is, Sir Lawyer. It is truly a pleasure to cross swords with you. Shine, shine. And now, once again, you have thrown down the gauntlet at my armored feet. I believe this is what you said yesterday. No, the coward must have wormed his way in through somewhere besides the door. Then my arch nemesis struck me on the head from behind with this gruesome item here. Finally, a flashback that's necessary. From behind, huh? But just now you testified that he struck you on the forehead. I hardly think you could forget where you were hit on the head. It would kind of hurt. Actually, it seems I've made another mistake. Detective Atme. That's not the only strange part of your testimony. What do you mean by that? For example, the very fact that you hid the calling card from the police itself is strange. It's almost as if you were afraid they were gonna help with security. Yeah. Oh, clear out all possible security so that he could just do what he wanted to do without any problems. He is the mask. Geniuses such as myself have always been misunderstood. How sad. That's wrong. Whoa, that's a deep voice. To err is human, to forgive divine. Humans aren't machines. They have souls, feelings. They live, they die, they love, they hate. And yes, they even make mistakes. Hey, hold on! It's not as pretty as that. Well, that was a thing. Really? What is it like then? Always chase a riddle down to the end. That's one of my rules. You seem to be making these up on the fly, if I'm being honest. This is it. This might just be my chance to turn things around. Well, let's all just really hope for that to be the case. Mr. Wright, what exactly is it that you're asserting? Very well, Your Honor. The defense asserts that he's no detective. He is a fake. He is Mask to Mask. It'd make the most sense. The self-grandizing respect to himself and Mask to Mask, but literally nobody else. The fact that the backup story makes literally no sense whatsoever. It all just kind of works, I feel. There's also the fact that, I mean, we got pictures of just somebody coming out, but we got no one coming in, and it's only of him. The answer is simple. It's all clear to me now. Detective Luke Atme's true identity is actually Mask to Mask. That was an interesting reaction I just saw. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? There are too many unnatural parts to Mr. Atme's story. He says he was hiding at the crime scene, which is why no one ever saw him there. And then, in his last case, he manages to outperform Detective Gumshoe and the entire police force to miraculously retrieve the stolen treasure. Would have been pretty easy if he was the one that took it. That's because I analyzed the crime scene data and made an exquisitely elegant deduction. I picked up clues that the police overlooked in order to arrive at a... Oh, please. The explanation is far simpler than that, Detective Atme. The truth is that you are, in fact, Mask to Mask. But Mr. Wright, this photo, it clearly shows Mask to Mask. Wait, how did he get his nose under that mask? Man, I sure hope that's not an actual plot point. The security camera belongs to the Lordly Taylor department store. He shouldn't have been able to manipulate it. He didn't need to manipulate it. He gained access to the warehouse under the pretense of providing security. Then he simply dressed up as the thief and stole the urn. So, the ace detective is actually an ace thief? Huh. A criminal solving his own... Basically, a criminal solving his own crimes to look like an amazing detective, to lower security, and make it easier to steal things. I mean, I'll give him credit. It's a pretty neat system, but it was probably never going to last forever. Is this true, witness? Ha. Okay. Damask's MO is pure genius, and so am I. Look at me, ace detective. You're very clever to have come to such a conclusion. I'm impressed, Sir Lawyer. What? Witness, you're admitting it? Nick, now's your chance. Yeah, time to put the last nail in this guy's coffin. Detective Atme, When you assume the thief... Okay, well, first of all, that's assault. Second of all, that is hilarious. Thank you for that. Wow. Godot Blend 102. My personal favorite. Yeah, okay, so that's literally assault. Could somebody maybe, like, do something about that? Mr. Godot! The ace detective is actually an ace thief. I smell a best-selling novel. There's only one problem. It simply isn't true. But, Mr. Godot, Mr. Wright has made some very strong points, and I will admit my opponent has woven a compelling narrative out of a whole cloth. But it is, in fact, nothing more than a patchwork quilt, Mr. Trite. He really dislikes Phoenix. That is weird. Although, if my theory about him is actually true, because right now it's just pure nonsensical conjecture, but if it's true, I guess it would make some sense. From a certain point of view, I guess. If this detective really is the thief, then show us the proof of your claim. But it had better be as hot and as perfect as the copy dripping down your face. Yeah, by the way, do I have burns? Assault? Arrest him? Well, Mr. Wright, don't just stand there. This court would like to see the decisive proof you have. Quickly. Nope, I got cleaned up. Huh? Oh, yes, of course. What's the big rush? Are you all right, Nick? Hemi looks pretty rattled right now. I'd like to finish this right now if I can. But can I really do it? The decisive evidence that proves Mr. Luke Atme is in fact Master Mask. I mean... Am I crazy, or do I actually not have definitive evidence? I don't think I actually have anything. Proof? Of course I've got nothing. Just what I thought. A man has to hold his head up high no matter how bad things get, after all. Yeah, I see. I thought perhaps you had some evidence to back up your assertion. Well, this is no good. I've got to stay on the attack. I'll never get another chance to prove that this guy is the thief. Don't give up, Nick. Think harder and try again. It's no good. I'm just not ready yet. But are you gonna just give up and let us lose this? So you've come to your senses, have you, Sir Lawyer? I can't think of a counterattack at all. It seems the cloud of suspicion surrounding the witness has lifted. Mr. Godot, if you have anything further to add, then... The witness? What? But who? Oh. Hello. Who are you? That doesn't really matter right now, does it? Miss Delight, what are you doing here? Nicky boy, the thing you've been looking for. I think I found it. Oh, hey, the bag. You mean that bag? No, not the bag. What's in the bag? Well, okay, so I have a couple things to say here. First and foremost, I mean, yeah, okay, well, Luke Atme was holding onto that, so there you go. There's your evidence. Also, somebody fixed the urn and also got a lot of paint on it, too. That is interesting to me. That's the sacred urn. Nick, it's the urn. Well, hot diggity damn. Order, order, order. You, madame, that urn, where did you find it? You'll never believe it. It was in the office of Mr. Fancy Pants Ace Detective, Luke Atme. Oh, Desi, you're the best. She is rather swell. Her motives in marriage are not pure, but her actions are still appreciated. Well, how do you explain that one, Mr. Atme? So you had the stolen item on your person. Funny. Even you are gonna have a hard time weaseling out of this one. Of course. Pathetic. Mr. Godot, do you have something you wish to say? Yes, Your Honor. It simply amazes me how quickly times change. In the old days, a man was to be taken at his word. It's truly sad. You're still denying that Mr. Atme was involved? Before casting apprehensions at Detective Atme, consider the young lady here. Your name is Desiree. Desiree Delight, is that correct? Yeah, what about it? Tuh, how charming. The lengths that a woman is willing to go to save her husband is truly inspiring. What are you insinuating? As the wife of the criminal, you could have discovered that stolen urn anywhere. I mean, that's really frustrating, but it's also completely and totally true. Including the office of the good detective here. So you found the urn. What does that prove? It certainly doesn't prove where the urn was before you found it. What? I just brought it here from the detective's office. Please, madame. This town is already filled to the brim with lies. Any more could only compound the tragedy we have witnessed to. You're wrong! I'd never do such a thing! Miss Delight, please, Nicky boy, you gotta help talk some sense into these people. There must be some way. I've gotta prove that urn was actually in the Atme Detective Agency. Actually, I totally can do that. Phoenix stuck his hand in there. Yesterday, at the office. Yeah, we totally can. I can prove where that urn was. By the fingerprints on it. Fingerprints, eh? Oh, come now. Now you're really making me laugh, Sir Lawyer. Fingerprints indeed. May I go on? Good. Now, it would be perfectly understandable if my fingerprints were on the urn. After all, it was I who was guarding the urn in the first place. In any case, I'm always in the habit of wearing gloves, as you can see. So unfortunately, my fingerprints wouldn't be evidence of anything. What about it, Mr. Wright? This witness's fingerprints would be nothing anyway. Nick, what are you gonna do now? I mean, that's honestly not a problem. I've yet to actually pull out the ace here. I've come too far to turn back now. Admin must have brought the urn back to his office yesterday. And there, I'm sure someone must have left their fingerprints on it. And that would be probably why for the first time ever, Phoenix Wright's profile is available in this thing, even though it's never been that way before. Take that! So what is all this fuss about fingerprints anyway? Mr. Atme, do you recall the events of yesterday? Bum-ba-da-bum. Hey, Nick, come on, open it up. Hey, wait a minute. I can't just open his private property. Don't be such a fuddy-duddy. This is an important investigation. Well, what's in there? Hang on a sec, I'm taking it out now. Whatever it is, it feels kind of hard and smooth. Well, hello there! And thus I stopped groping said object. It's true that I didn't get a chance to look in the bag at the time, but I did touch what was inside. What? You touched it? And I remember it very well. It was smooth and hard. Well, that was just... Your Honor, I'd like the court to examine the fingerprints on that urn. If my fingerprints are on there, then it proves that the urn was in Detective Atme's office. Objection. Well, even if your fingerprints are on the urn, it still doesn't prove when they were put there, does it? Of course it does. What did you say? It's not what I say, but what Adrian Andrews, the person in charge of the exhibition, said. I polished it until it was just about glowing. I thought maybe I could make it look more valuable. Damn, I didn't even think that that would be something that mattered. These things are very well written. If she polished it that much, she must have removed any and all fingerprints on it. And the only chance I had to get my fingerprints on it after that was yesterday at the detective agency. This blend, Godot Blend 107. I've decided. It's a little too bitter after all. All right, well, smoke is shooting out of your mask now, so I guess that really does serve some kind of purpose. Fascinating. Order, order, order. I accept the defense's request. Bailiff, take this urn and... Wait! Wait a moment, Your Honor. There's no need for that. No need, you say? Precisely. I already know Mr. Wright's fingerprints are on the urn. What are you saying? Yes! I've finally broken him down! Yeah, I can't do a laugh like that, Justice. Whoa, my God. Take a good look, everyone! Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown! This guy's nuttier than a fruitcake. But not an almond joy. Interesting. You see, it was me all along. I am the one and only Master Mask. I hope you all enjoyed my little performance. That is a very disturbing face. All right, so I'm not crazy in thinking that this all went incredibly easily, right? Like, isn't this whole thing kind of short for a case 2? Well, Mr. Godot, what's Mr. Atmy's condition? He's still in the lobby, laughing insanely, Your Honor. I wish I could enjoy the joke as much as he seems to be. Well, looks like the matter has been settled. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Go fig! Besmirching him with the title of thief. How about that noise, y'all? How about that noise? Nick, you were right after all. Yeah, I guess Mr. Delight really wasn't the thief. Go fig! The court finds the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight. And now I've got to deal with this. You're wrong. Wrong, I tell you. I mean, not exactly wrong so much, but actually not really right is what I was really trying to say. Oh no, he's not. This can't be happening. The thief, the sneaky, odious thief who has been stealing all the treasures. It's me. I'm him. I'm the one you want. I'm the thief, I tell you. Why do you want to be in prison? So do it. Pronounce me guilty, please. I don't know what kind of a kangaroo court you all think this is, but it is the most kangaroo court ever portrayed in fiction. Objection! The true identity of the thief has already been proven. Please hurry and pass judge. And then Godot. Oh, what are you talking about? I already confessed. I'm the thief, I tell you. Great. Condescending smugness. If I talk over the gulps, I don't hear them. So maybe I'll just do that. Mr. Godot, don't just stand there and drinking coffee. Hey there, Mr. Thief. Okay, so I'm not going to outright say my theory. Let's just say the fact that the game is so adamantly talking about coffee so much, I find incredibly suspicious when lined up with things learned earlier. If it ends up being a thing, then at least I've laid down the foundation to make it seem like I'm not talking out my butt here. I'll just leave it at that for now. Hey there, Mr. Thief. Yes, sir? If you're really a man, then clean up your own mess. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I just don't have any idea what you mean. If you're a Master Mask, then prove it. That's what it means. Yes, sir. I'm happy to. He says he'll be happy to, Nick. It's kind of cute. He's 100% committed to his fantasy. It's really kind of depressing in that way, too. Good boy. Just remember one thing. A boy only gets one chance in his life to become a man. And the exact methods of doing so depends on who you ask. I know that. I won't fail, I swear. Okay, then. Talk. We're all listening. Oh, well, let's all have a listen to this confession. I'm listening, mister. The truth is, I've been Master Mask all along. I mean, you can't actually prove that I'm not actually Master Mask, can you? I mean, I kinda can. I don't have an alibi for the night the urn was stolen, after all. I donned my costume that night and dancingly descended upon the scene of the crime. Look, you can see right there in the photo. That's me. I mean, there is the nose thing, but I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take note of that. Also, what's with the paint? The paint. As for my brooch, I snagged it on the door handle and it got torn off, that's all. Huh. I don't like the direction this trial is taken. Personally, neither do I. This is how every trial goes. At least with me, anyway. Yeah. You're doing great. Stop it, Mr. Godot, you're embarrassing me. Like I said, you're only gonna get one chance to testify, all right? You don't get any more. Not a single one, sir. Not a single. But if you make it through this with flying colors, I'll keep my promise too. Excusez-moi. That's definitely interesting. I'll make sure you stay locked up in prison as the one and only true Master Mask. Is that the promise? Interesting. Thank you so much, Mr. Godot. I'll do my best. All right, Mr. Wright. I'm afraid it's time for the cross-examination. The This is silly. All right, well, first things first, let me take a look at 2 pieces of evidence that I've got. Okay, written with a fountain pen found in the room. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. Okay, well, I don't remember that last part, but that's definitely something. Okay, I also want to see this. Found a KB Security building at around 1 a.m. the night of the crime. So... yeah, we could show... I think I'll show the wallet, and then you'd be like, whoa, what was he doing there? Because of this, I think. All right. I mean, you can't prove that I'm actually not him, can you? I don't have an alibi. Yeah, okay, but what if you did have an alibi? Like, I'm sorry, I don't even want to press things on the matter. This is just silly. Mr. Delight, this wallet belongs to you, correct? Yes, it does. I'd lost it somewhere. Mr. Wright, when you find a wallet, you should report it to the police right away. No, you don't understand. This is an important piece of evidence. Evidence? Mr. Delight, when did you first notice that you'd lost your wallet? Let's see. I think it was on the night of the crime. But I know I still had it when Desi and I went out for dinner. This wallet was found at approximately 1 a.m. at KB Security Headquarters. What? Surely you're not serious. Serious as a heart attack. Yes, I am serious. This proves that Mr. Delight was in fact at KB Security that night. No! Until someone says, oh, well, maybe someone stole it and planted it. So, if the defendant was at KB Security at 1 o'clock in the morning, then that proves that he has a watertight alibi. Oh. Furthermore, considering the distance between Lord Lee Taylor and KB Security, it had taken 30 minutes to get there by car. According to Larry, anyway. Even if it was 15 minutes, that's still way too long. Well, Mr. Godot, do you have anything to say? Yes, I have something to say instead of gulping. And stop drinking that coffee! Come on, Mr. Thief. Don't let this guy beat you. Tell him why he's wrong. You're the only one who calls me thief, Mr. Godot. All right, I'll try. I'll do it. I will. He's really got Mr. Delight all worked up. Yeah, he's like a kid at his first day of school. I was a kid at my first day at school. I was a lot more depressed. Look, it's just ridiculous. Why would I have dropped my wallet at KB Security? Someone must have planted it there to make it look like I was there and not at the heist. Planted it there? He's really reaching now. Mr. Delight, you probably dropped your wallet when you took it out to use this, didn't you? The key card to KB Security CEO's office? No! That was a pretty good try, Mr. Trite. Unfortunately, you've overlooked one small thing. And that would be? Motive, of course. I have that. Why would this thief go to KB Security in the middle of the night anyway? Well, Mr. Wright, looks like you need some more evidence after all. Ugh. This stupid kid. Question. This stupid kid. I'm just saying. Now, let's see your evidence. Yep, I've got that evidence. Bum ba da bum bum bum. Mr. Delight, I believe you've seen this before, correct? Ah, that's... What is it? A blackmail letter. That's what it looks like from the contents. Blackmail? Yeah, basically it says bring $50,000. Huh, that certainly sounds like blackmail, all right. At the time of the theft, Mr. Delight was dealing with the blackmailer himself in KB Security CEO's office, a full half an hour away from the scene of the crime. All right, well, that was gross, but at least that means he doesn't have any more arguments to make. Order, order, order! So when the theft of the urn occurred, the defendant was at KB Security. Looks like a perfect case for the defense. You may see it as a perfect case, Judge, but to me, well, let's just say that my Godot Blend 107 impresses me a lot more. What are you trying to say? You said the thief was being blackmailed by the CEO of a security company? But did you actually investigate the CEO at all? Well, no, I guess not. Accusing a man of blackmail with no proof? I'm not sure what I think of that. Not sure what I think of that? At least I know what I think of you. Unpleasant? Ooh! Huh. Good point. I'm not sure what I think of it myself. You claim that the defendant entered the CEO's office, but you'll need at least one witness to corroborate your claim, Mr. Wright. Nick, I think we're gonna have to track down that CEO guy. No, we don't have to track down the CEO at all. What do you mean by that, Mr. Trite? There is someone else who can testify. This is the person who can testify that the keycard was used at 1 a.m. Wow. Who'd have ever thought this guy would come in handy? What? Who is this useless-looking young man? You don't remember him, Your Honor? Not exactly. But just looking at his picture makes the bile start to rise in my throat. Damn. Looks like he doesn't remember the case from 2 years ago. He probably blocked out the memory on purpose. That's fair. Anyway, this man was working as a guard at KB Security that night. Oh. The question at hand is this key card. As it turns out, yep, that's the key card they used in the building I work. According to the serial number, this one is for the CEO's office. You need to get into the room, and every time you use the card, it leaves a record. Yeah, it tells you exactly who entered the room and when. Bada bing, bada boom. Shabba ding, shabba doom. As you can see, there's no need to investigate the CEO of KB Security. We should be able to discover the truth simply by analyzing this keycard's data. Pa-ra-ra! Did his mask just contort to his face? So... I did it? Well, Mr. Godot? The name of the CEO of KB Security is Kane Bullard. I was unable to contact him directly, but I got the keycard data here. So what does it show? Each keycard has its own serial number, and they leave detailed records of their use. According to this data, this card was used at 1 a.m. on the morning of the crime. If the case is over, why did that evidence just update? But that means it can't be Mr. Delight dressed as mask to mask in this photo. Looks like you're right. 2 minutes isn't even enough time to brew a good cup of joe. So then... Oh. Ron Delight was clearly in the office of KB Security CEO at the time of the crime. The prosecutor's office is ready to admit that fact. Therefore, it's impossible for the defendant to be mask to mask. Good job, you did it, Nick! Although the way he phrased that so specifically is a bit eyebrow-raising. That's enough. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man who's also kind of nutter butters. Besmirching him with the title of thief. What's wrong, Your Honor? I'm ready to pass judgment. But before I do that, do you have any further objections? No, Your Honor. Very well. Just making sure before I even attempt it this time. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight. Well, there you go. Okay. Court is now adjourned. That was certainly an event. More than a little confused. Nick, you did it! You were right after all. Actually, I'm a little bit ashamed of myself. Nicky boy! Oh, Mr. Light. I knew you could do it. I believed in you all along, Nicky boy. I don't know how I can ever repay you. Ah, shucks. Thanks, Mr. Light. I just know I'm blushing. It's true, she is pretty. Congratulations, Mr. Nick. Oh, pearls. I've got a bad feeling about this. Who is this woman? Yep, there we go. Oh, she's nobody. She's just, You're blushing! How dare you do this in front of Miss Maya? You should be ashamed of yourself. And she hit me. Ow! She slapped me! Pearly, this woman is Miss Desiree Delight. She's our client's wife. Mr. Nick! Yes? You're even worse than I thought. Going behind the back of your own client. Oh, we've got a... Double smack attack! Double slap. What are you, a frickin' Jigglypuff? Well, anyway, all's well that ends well, right? Yeah. We got the sacred urn back and the thief has been caught, but why is the urn all painty and fixed? You're so right. It's all thanks to Nicky boy here. But actually, it was you, Miss Delight, that brought us our urn back. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, please. You're embarrassing me. If you won the case, then why does this guy still look so glum? But I am the thief. Actually, what's the point now? What is it, honey? I did my best for you, Ronnie. I know that, and I appreciate it, Desi. But the thing is, come on, give the kid some time. He's just got a little touch of the blues. You know about feeling blue, right, amigo? He cuts an imposing figure, I'll give him that. Mr. Godot, what are you doing here? Oh, come on. I just came here to say thanks to my newest buddy. You, Mr. Trite. Maybe you should learn my name before you call me buddy. Well, playtime is over. Early this morning, the body of Kane Bullard was discovered. There's the murder! And now I just realized where this is going. The CEO that Ron went to visit is dead. No wonder he wanted to be the thief so bad. That would have been 1,000,000 times better than being tried for murder. Butts. Kane Bullard? Never heard that name before. Isn't that the name of the CEO of KB Security? Wait, body? The estimated time of death was 1 a.m. on October 12th. 1 a.m. on October 12th? You don't mean... That's right, amigo. And that's why you were so confident and stating those facts so earnestly. Rondalite was in the building at this precise time, and the prosecution's office will admit this fact. But... I knew it was too good to be true. At the same time that a cheap little urn was being stolen, the CEO of KB Security was being murdered. So then, what are you doing here? Oh, come on, you figured it out already, haven't you, amigo? Or have you already forgotten about that piece of info I helped you out with today? Help me out, what? On October 12th, at 1 o'clock in the morning, Rondalite was in the CEO's office, the scene of the murder. After getting that blackmail letter, he must have been imbued with utter rage. What are you saying? Imbued with rage? Come on, don't tell me you didn't know. Rondalite was once an employee of KB Security. He was a professional security guard. An employee of security? Looks like the alibi that saved him from being convicted as a thief is gonna be the noose that gets him hanged. Kind of an anti-alibi. Otherwise known as, just not an alibi. No way. He can't be the thief because he was at the murder scene when the murder occurred. No, that's a lie. It can't be true. Oh, but I am a thief, I tell you. Rondalite, you're going back to prison again. This time, the charge is much more serious. This time, you'll be tried for murder. What? This is impossible! I'm looking forward to another exciting showdown, Mr. Trite. Great, so I won, but I didn't win. You and I aren't through with each other yet. Surely you won't back down from a challenge. You've never been a coward. Mr. Nick, is there something personal between you two? I have a tentative theory, but I don't want to say it out loud in the case that I'm completely off base and look like an idiot. I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you. See, that's also part of what's making me think. Okay, you know what? Is Godot the guy who drank from the poisoned coffee cup in the first case? I mean, I know it said he was murdered, but that's why he's returned from the depths of hell. Drinks a lot of coffee, drank poison coffee, and I mean, I guess that my idea for how it relates to Phoenix back is a bit more loose and not so defined, but that's just my theory. I could be completely off base. I'm admitting it right here. That might be completely and totally a pull straight from my butt. That's my theory. At least let me have some fun while I'm here. This guy, who the heck is he? He may be quiet, but he's the most dangerous enemy I've ever faced. Well then, time to say goodbye to Mr. Delight. Nick, how could this be happening? Right in front of our very eyes, our client has been arrested for murder. And the one who established his presence at the scene was me. Yeah, Ronnie! Arrested for murder on the very same day he's declared innocent of larceny. The heck's gonna happen next? Well, ain't that just the biggest pile of butts there ever once was? Welp. Assuming he isn't the murderer, I guess we're gonna be figuring out who it was. Sheesh. Okay, well, I mean, I thought this whole case was way too tame and simple. Yeah, all right, well, be that as it may, in the next part, I guess we're gonna have to get started on all of that. I'll see you all then.